For some reason, no one tells us that, damn it. The leadership, damn it. Everything is lost. 155th for some reason already. 4 hamsters. I hit the target precisely. For some reason, no one tells us that, damn it.
A Russian mill blogger says the entire command of the 155th Brigade was wiped out in the Kursk region after 4 Ukrainian Himars struck with precision. He's also complaining about poor EW coverage and the low quality of government-made drones.
For some reason, no one tells us that, damn it. The leadership, damn it. Everything is lost. 155th for some reason already. 4 hamsters. I hit the target precisely.
Because we have no work, RER. It's expensive. Nobody buys it. So they foist these drones on us. Dobrynya Zalupa, the one that doesn't fly, needs reworking. This damn Siberia choke, I tell you, flies by itself for 14 minutes. What can it lift? It can't even fly itself away, damn it.
Here's what it's like, guys. The situation is dire.
The Ukrainian 46th Airmobile Brigade targeting Russian assault groups with FPV drones and grenade drops. The Ukrainian 46th Airmobile Brigade has emerged as one of the most battle-hardened and adaptive units in Ukraine's armed forces. Composed primarily of elite air assault troops, this brigade has gained extensive combat experience since the early phases of the full-scale Russian invasion. Operating across key front lines such as Bakhmut, Avdiivka, and more recently near Toretsk and the southern Zaporizhzhia direction, the 46th has played a crucial role in both defensive and offensive operations. In the spring and summer of 2023, the brigade was pivotal in the battles near Klishchivka and Andriivka, where it faced intense urban combat and artillery fire. Soldiers from the 46th were frequently tasked with storming Russian trenches under fire and repelling armored assaults. Despite heavy losses in these engagements, the brigade has shown resilience, rebuilding its units and improving its capabilities. More recently, they have been spotted operating near the Toretsk sector, where Russian forces are attempting to break through Ukrainian defenses. Here, the 46th has continued to fight under difficult conditions, often rotating between frontline positions and quick-strike counterattacks. What sets the 46th Airmobile Brigade apart is its advanced use of drone warfare. Their operators employ a mix of FPV drones for kamikaze strikes and quadcopters for real-time reconnaissance. These drones are not only used to scout Russian trench systems and armored movements, but also to drop munitions into dugouts and even directly onto enemy vehicles. The brigade has refined the tactic of using drone swarms to saturate a target area, disorienting Russian forces and providing precise strike data to Ukrainian artillery units. On several occasions, coordinated drone and mortar attacks have allowed the 46th to dismantle Russian strongpoints without having to commit large numbers of troops to direct assaults. The 46th also works closely with drone volunteer groups that supply custom-built FPV drones with thermal optics, night vision, and extended range capabilities. Their drone units often operate just meters from the enemy, guiding fire and recording hits that are later used for both tactical analysis and psychological impact. Videos released by the brigade show high-precision strikes on enemy vehicles, trench systems, and observation posts, disrupting Russian logistics and morale. In the current phase of the war, with limited opportunities for large-scale maneuver warfare, brigades like the 46th are becoming increasingly vital. Their flexibility, combat spirit, and integration of modern drone tactics allow them to hold ground, inflict damage, and adapt to the dynamic battlefield. The 46th Airmobile Brigade is not just surviving, it's shaping how Ukraine fights. In Shebekino, Russia, Belgorod region, the chemical enterprise Selena caught fire after a UAV attack, causing black smoke. Earlier, 7 people were injured during an attack on an agricultural enterprise in the village of Yasny Zori. In Shebekino, Russia, in the Belgorod region, a chemical enterprise caught fire after a UAV attack, UNN reports, citing Astra. The Russian telegram channel Popol published a video from the Selena chemical reagents plant. After the UAV attack, black smoke rose over the enterprise. The governor of the region, Vyacheslav Gladkov, clarified that earlier, during an attack on an agricultural enterprise in the village of Yasny Zori, 7 people were injured. A new cutting-edge evacuation cart for wounded and dead soldiers is now officially in use in the Russian army. They proudly call it an innovation.
TT cars with steering, with the seat, and equipment for transporting 200s and 300s. It works. It helps by itself. There's a battery shown, even two separately. Innovation from our battalion's auto industry. Added shock absorbers here. Everything moves smoothly now.
Dutch and German intelligence agencies have gathered evidence of widespread Russian use of banned chemical weapons in Ukraine, including dropping a choking agent from drones to drive soldiers out of trenches so they can be shot, they said on Friday. Dutch Defense Minister Ruben Brekelmans called for tougher sanctions against Moscow. The main conclusion is that we can confirm Russia is intensifying its use of chemical weapons, he told Reuters. This intensification is concerning because it is part of a trend we have been observing for several years now, where Russia's use of chemical weapons in this war is becoming more normalized, standardized, and widespread. Germany's BND Foreign Intelligence Agency confirmed the findings, saying in a statement that it had obtained the evidence alongside its Dutch counterparts. Reuters was first to report on the intelligence. The head of the Dutch Military Intelligence Agency, Peter Riesink, said the conclusions followed our own independent intelligence, so we have observed it ourselves based on our own investigations. The United States first accused Russia of using chloropicrine, a chemical compound more toxic than riot control agents and first used by Germany during World War I in May last year. Ukraine alleges thousands of instances of Russian chemical weapons use. Germany is weighing a massive defense procurement plan worth up to 25 billion euros, 29.4 billion, to supply thousands of combat vehicles for NATO's expanding force structure, Bloomberg reported on July 4th, citing unnamed sources familiar with the matter. The proposed purchases are part of a broader pan-European effort to boost deterrence against Russia, as Western leaders warn of the growing risk of a large-scale war within 5 years. Berlin is reportedly considering purchasing up to 2,500 GTK Boxer armored vehicles and up to 1,000 Leopard 2 battle tanks. The purchase would equip up to 7 new brigades that Germany has pledged to form under NATO's force generation plans for the next decade. Final pricing and quantities are still under negotiation, and the projected cost could fall below 25 billion euros, 29.4 billion, depending on procurement timelines and contract terms. German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius and top Bundeswehr officials are reviewing the plans, with legislative approval expected by the end of the year, Bloomberg reported. Germany has faced pressure from NATO and Washington to meet its alliance commitments, including the newly adopted pledge to spend at least 5% of GDP on defense by 2035. The initiative, endorsed on June 25th at the NATO summit, reflects concern over Russia's wartime economy, military buildup, and destabilization efforts across Europe. 17 members of Congress have called on U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to restore halted arms deliveries to Ukraine. Senator Richard Blumenthal said the decision by Hegseth was dangerous at a time when the U.S. should be responding to Russia's continued attacks on Ukraine. Hegseth reversed his dangerous decision to freeze munitions and arms shipments to Ukraine. This is precisely the wrong moment to curtail our aid. We must meet Putin's brutal assault with the arms Ukraine needs to defend itself, Blumenthal shared. In a letter to Hegseth, the lawmakers warned that the Pentagon's move has also raised concerns among key U.S. allies. The following weapon systems are reported to have been suspended. PAC-3, Patriot surface-to-air missiles, 155mm artillery shells, GMLRS rockets for HIMARS launchers, Stinger, MANPADS, AIM-7 Sparrow air-to-air missiles, AGM-114 Hellfire air-to-surface missiles. The letter described the suspension, which was reportedly intended to shift resources to other regions, as a strategic error. While the administration has stressed the importance of bolstering military capacity in the Indo-Pacific, lawmakers argued that Russia remains the most immediate and urgent threat to U.S. and allied security. Last week, Russian President Vladimir Putin launched the largest air assault on Ukraine since the start of the full-scale invasion, the senators said, adding that this was the worst possible moment to reduce military assistance. The lawmakers urge Pentagon chief to reverse this decision and transfer the remaining $3.8 billion in assistance already authorized under the president's drawdown authority, along with the remaining $300 million allocated under the Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative, according to the letter. They also requested a classified briefing by July 31st and written responses to the following questions. Which specific weapons and munitions for Ukraine have been suspended? Where are these munitions now being diverted? Are there plans to redirect other weapons? If so, to where? According to the Department of Defense, how long can Ukraine maintain current consumption rates before running out of ammunition? Mr. Secretary, peace through strength requires us to use our strength, the lawmakers wrote. Ukraine's fight for freedom is not hypothetical. It's happening now, and we must stand with them by providing the arms they need to defend themselves. They added that Congress stands ready to authorize funding to replenish U.S. stockpiles in preparation for future conflicts.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comments section. The membership link is in the description.
Every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.